When you're ready. Team 3.
Okay. So today we are going to talking about how to relieve stress on the workplace. I'm going to do the intro story for you guys. Getting the first job or absorbed after treatment off, even after a long search for a job, comes with a lot of fun. It comes with some relief, knowing that it will not be stressful paying the essential bills and meet some other financial needs. That were not possible if without a job. However, this fun is always short-lived in the contemporary world, because the world is facing an increased level of computation. Many organizations is work so hard to remain competitive or risk being pushed out of the market. The cost of production puts much pressure on the management to work on ways of minimizing cost. Most companies are forced to restructure as a way of dealing with the high cost of operation. Those who face the most significant challenge is the employees who are expected to handle several projects in a day because the company has no more resources to hire more workers. The pressure is too much, and most of workers always have the feeling that they are unable to keep up and that things are going out of control. The majority of people employed in various companies are stressed due to the work overload. The uncertainty of their future in the company and strain within individual employees. External factors such as economic hardship, domestic problem, and pressure of examination, among many other factors, can equally add to the already stressful work environment. That can lead into even a more complicated situation to workers. Stress at workplace can lead to increased anxiety, depression, and exhaustion emotionally. Stress at work, therefore, affects the productivity of work. And in a worst scenario, can lead to death. Consequently, we need to find some effective way to reduce the stress. Michael gonna show you guys some valuable strategy about how to relieve the stress.
So here are some immediate strategies that will help you alleviate stress in the workplace. Finding an acupressure point on your middle finger using 2 fingers from your other hand will help your blood pressure, and as a result, it will relieve your stress going into an important meeting. Going into an important meeting or presentation. And as you can see here, Dr. Sharon Melnick, who has a PhD in clinical psychology, states that you can quickly reduce your anxiety with the right acupressure point. So this is a very effective method towards reducing your stress. Act, don't react. So you don't want to react emotionally when you are stressed, or maybe you are feeling overworked. You don't want to take your frustrations out on any coworkers or let it affect how you do your job. Just simply control what you can control and just do your job to the best of your ability. And keep in mind that happy employees tend to be the most productive, and so therefore you want to have a positive mindset even through the difficult days and weeks that you may encounter in the workplace. And it may sound cliche or basic, but taking a deep breath to cool down is scientifically proven to help you. It'll help lower your blood pressure, lower your heart rate, and release endorphins to your brain, which has a calming effect on your body. Leads to better decisions. Obviously, when you're calmer, you will be a better decision maker than when you're stressed. And a cooling breath is recommended, and all this is breathing in through your mouth and out through your nose. And without further ado, Kevin will tell you what you can do in the near future.
Alright, so what can you guys do in the near future to help relieve stress? Well, one way you guys can do it is to start eating right and sleeping well. So you gotta ask yourself, are you eating well enough? And how frequently are you eating? Are you eating McDonald's every single day? Or are you eating something that's more healthier and more nutritious? And if you're eating once a day, then you're not getting enough the calories that you need to fulfill your body needs. And for sleep, it's recommended that you guys adults get around 7 to 9 hours of sleep a day. And studies show that over 60 million Americans do not get that required amount. And getting a lack of sleep will make your workplace much more harder because your body's a lot more tired. So it's important to get a lot of sleep. So how many of you guys have trouble falling asleep at night? Well, a quick and easy way that doesn't require any drugs or sleeping pills is to just cover your right nostril and breathe through your left one for like 3 to 5 minutes. This will help you fall asleep a lot faster. And another way to relieve stress is to see if you have any self-imposed stress. Now, self-imposed stress is just stress that you put upon yourself. And ways to combat that is to just build up your self-confidence and self-esteem. Having a low confidence in yourself will just make you be overwhelmed with anxiety, which can generally lead to a lot more stress in the near future. And another thing you guys need to do is to focus on your own work. Don't worry about what others think about you, and don't try to impress them too much, because that would just lead to more stress too. And now Hannah will talk about how to set yourself up for daily success.
All right, continuing on the theme that Kevin just brought up, how do you relieve stress in, not necessarily the moment, but in the week that you're experiencing it? There are a couple of different strategies that you can do in addition to what Kevin has already touched on. One of the top ways you can reduce your stress on a weekly basis is to eliminate the interruptions you experience throughout a day. And what I mean by that is, how many times a day are you checking your email? How many times a day are you answering your phone? All of these little interruptions. It takes 30 seconds to respond to an email. But if you're spending 30 seconds responding to emails every 20 minutes in a day, how much work do you have to get done? How much are you able to do because of these constant interruptions? It's important to schedule your day so that you only experience emails, phone calls, daily little interruptions like this once, twice, maybe 3 times a day, depending on the job that you're in. Another way to set yourself up for daily success is to look at things from a different point of view. Consider, my boss just yelled at me. I feel really bad about myself. But instead of sitting in that terrible feeling of, I just got yelled at, F that guy, why is he yelling at me? What you want to do instead is maybe focus on, why is he yelling at me? What have I done to create an atmosphere, an environment where my boss feels that my behavior needs to be corrected? Look at it from a different perspective, look at it from a different point of view, and maybe try to understand how your behavior led to this unfortunate event occurring. A third thing you can do to relieve stress, just as a career-based thing, is to be your own best critic. Be your own fan. Tell yourself, my boss just got done yelling at me, but that doesn't mean that I'm a useless employee. That doesn't mean that I don't have value to this company. That doesn't mean that I don't do good work. That means that today wasn't my best day. And so really reframing the image in a more positive light, as kind of silly as it sounds, why are you trying to be positive about the fact that you just got yelled at work? But reframing it to be more positive can actually help you feel better about the feedback that you just received. Because a lot of times when someone is yelling at you, you just take that immediate, this doesn't feel good, and then you set in that immediate feeling. Instead of taking a second to think about it, as a logical perspective. And when you imagine from a logical perspective, why did I just get yelled at? Things tend to go smoother during your day because you identify, this is why I'm getting yelled at, but this is how I can prevent getting yelled at in the future. And next is going to be Matthew talking about long-term stress.
All right, so this is stuff you can do over the long term, over the course of your career. And it's this button, right? So you're in direct okay. Okay. It's not the one with the arrow. Okay. So you're in direct control of around 50% of your environment, yourself. You're not in control of the other 50% of your environment, which is other people around you. So, for instance, negative people. We all know somebody who's just constantly negative. Hopefully you don't know more than one. You can't control those people in your life, but what you can do is you can influence them. You can talk to them. So to reduce the stress that they cause you and others, talk to them about it. Respectfully tell them what the problem is. Show them how it affects others on the team. And ask them to change, providing a way for them to do so. Because if you don't provide them a way to do so, then they will just think that you're complaining about them as opposed to actually trying to make them into a better person. For instance, nobody here is named Juliana, right? I'm not trying to call anybody out. No? Okay, cool. Juliana, constantly being negative makes it harder for others to work with you. If you have any concerns, could you bring them to me before we actually have our meetings? That way you're not going to actually say this part, but you aren't always raining on the parade. So the other part of this is developing good work habits. Because over the course of your career, you're going to have a lot of stuff to do in a short amount of time. So scheduling breaks. It's a common misconception, one that I used to believe, that working straight through the day is the most effective thing you can do. It's not. It stresses you out. I'm stressed out really right now. My legs are shaking really badly. Ugh. It's important to give yourself breaks. You can do something. You can take a walk, be it around the office or your local park. You can stretch your shoulders. That way you don't have the desk jockey look that some accountants get after years and years of valiant service. And you can also do push-ups if your boss doesn't object to you being slightly sweaty at the expense of being better shape. Tony Shirts of the Energy Project advises that you do 90 minutes of intense concentration and then you do a short break. I'm currently trying it out. Next time we present, I'll let you know how it's actually working out. The other thing that you need a lot to work on at work is your actual priorities. So at work, you're getting bombarded with stuff that is labeled urgent, that people want you to do right now. You can't do all this stuff right now. You have to choose something. To do that, you need to figure out a few things. So for instance, what's your job? Like, what are you on the company to do? What do you do the best? What can you focus on and get out of the way? And what does the company want you to do? Once you know these, you can prioritize what's important in actually doing instead of being constantly overwhelmed by the next new thing you're supposed to do. Now let's see how much you remember with the pop quiz that will be next time we present.
And we're ending it on pop quiz. Thank you guys.
Ask for questions. You want to ask for questions?
You guys have any questions?